Hello everybody and welcome! Last week the Kerbal Space Program Twitter account gave us just a little glimpse into what the KSP2 team is working on. The Mammoth 2 engine, and it sure lives up to its humongous namesake. This got me thinking. It's been a while since we've talked about the sequel to our beloved space game, so let's change that. This time we're going to talk about my personal pet peeves I have with the original and how I hope Kerbal Space Program 2 will improve on that. Please make sure you watch until the end and leave a comment to tell us what your KSP pet peeves are that should be addressed in the sequel. Here we go! 6 things KSP2 needs to do better. Getting to other planets. I know that a lot of players never go further than Kerbin orbit or one of its 2 moons. And honestly, I can understand them. Getting to another planet is hard. You need to find a suitable transfer window, which you do best either with mods or nowadays with the included maneuver planner. The latter even provides the correct maneuver node, so you just have to point your ship and fire the engines. But you better do it perfectly, because trying to fine-tune your approach later can be very tedious. To stay efficient, you have to start your maneuver far away from your target, but once you have put the node on your orbital path, you often can't move it and check the outcome at the same time without doing some camera yoga. Personally, I like to focus on my target and tweak the maneuver node until I hit it right, but without the mod Precise Maneuver, I would lose so much time, it's ridiculous. Did I say time? Hold that thought, we will get to time at the end, and it's the biggest point of them all. Imagine how this problem intensifies when you go interstellar, as KSP2 is set out to do. You will fly at ridiculous speeds, and any minor change in velocity will make the difference between hitting your destination solar system or getting lost in the interstellar void. So, here's my request to the developers. Find a way to modify the maneuver node itself and still be able to see the result at your destination. One simple solution could be some kind of picture-in-picture mode or split screen. This is just stupid old me coming up with a random idea. I'm sure the developers will find a better solution. And of course, having to babysit half-hour-long interplanetary burns is another huge time sink when playing Kerbal Space Program. Now, there have been hints that this could be a thing of the past due to the way the new research system is set up, but I will believe it when I see that. Speaking of seeing, let's talk about the next item. Better orbital physics. One of the biggest selling points of KSP is that it offers somewhat accurate physics for a game. Sure, there are little green men and you can send ridiculous contraptions into space, but no other game offers this level of physics accuracy. At least none that I'm aware of. And still, there are a few things that are very annoying and need improvement. If my first item is about planning your path to another target, this is about actually getting there. In the original game, orbits can get wonky. Way too often I had the predicted periapsis at my interplanetary target jump around randomly without any input from my side to the vehicle, and this costs fuel and your valuable time as players. Again, time. Keep watching, I'll get to it. Also, on the topic of orbital physics, if you ever try to rendezvous with another vehicle, you might have noticed it jump around when you activate time warp. This is also very annoying and needs to be fixed in KSP2, but developers have already promised to
slay the Kraken.
But orbital physics is not the only thing that can be improved. There's also ground-based physics. Wheels. Yeah, wheels in KSP are bad. Landing gear as well. If you ever played the game and tried to land or drive somewhere, you know what I mean. It's ridiculous. Get that sorted out, please. Next! Remember settings. It's such a simple thing that I can't fathom why it was not present from the get-go. Every part in Kerbal Space Program has these part menus. One of the things I always do is use autostrut. But there's no option to have it turned on by default. This should not be a hard thing to implement. Have a setting somewhere, part menu presets or something, and have me select some defaults for certain parameters I use regularly. Same thing, for instance, with fairings. When building with those, I tend to turn on clamshell and 2 segments for all my fairings and turn off the interstage truss. It's just the way I like to do things, and I'm sure all of you out there have your own way of building things. Our styles of playing are just as creative as the vehicles we launch, so give us a way to define custom defaults for part settings. If part settings still exist in the new game, who knows? The amount of time I've spent turning on autostrut after placing parts or setting fairings to how I like them is ridiculous. There is again time, but for the time, let's remain in the editor. Part improvements. There are other things that should be improved in the editor, like making fairing bases slimmer and give me a way to select which structural panel node I will connect my part. See this? That's just annoying. The old B9 parts mod enabled players to switch off some nodes so that this exact problem would not be one. On the other hand, there are parts that don't have enough nodes, like the shielded docking ports. Also, I would like to be able to radially attach any part to any other part. Sure, I can use the current workaround of using a radially attachable part with nodes and put my other part on there. Yes, life finds a way and so on, and so do KSP players, but we shouldn't be forced to waste time on such workarounds. And yes, we finally get to it. Time! I have a confession to make. I have soured a bit on Kerbal Space Program over the past months. There's a lot going on in my life right now, and honestly, sitting through the longest load times of any game on my PC and then having to notice all those things that siphon away even more time from me, it reduces the amount of fun I can have with KSP a lot. Am I to blame for the game grinding to a halt because I built another 1200 part monster cruiser? Sure, but then again, there are technical problems within the game that prevent me from building my vehicles how I want to build them. Big shout out at this point to Stratzenblitz, who helped me identify a specific issue with the vehicle I'm currently working on. It has been driving me crazy and has delayed this particular project since June. Speaking of performance, my PC is already pretty overkill. I mean, I have a 12-core Ryzen 3900X CPU and an RTX 3090 graphics card. Yes, it is overkill, but KSP doesn't even come close to maxing them. And not even the 64 GB of RAM, yes, overkill again, although the game sometimes takes north of 20 GB of memory. Honestly, I want my hardware screaming for mercy and my cooling system at its limits. If the performance is there, dear game, use it. Let me make the monsters in my head come to life without me having to jump through so many hoops and waste the most valuable resource I have: time. Because time is the only thing in life you cannot replace. Once a second has passed, it is gone. You are past that point in your existence and it will never return. And the older I get, the less tolerance I have for anything that makes me feel I am wasting my time. So, dear KSP2 developers, should you ever watch this, please don't waste my time and our time as a community by failing to recognize unnecessary time sinks. We're waiting patiently for the release, which is now set to
early 2023.
But please don't make us feel like all that time was wasted. I'm still confident the game will be amazing when it comes out, because I still believe that the right people are working on it. But yeah, I just wanted to let you know this little thing. Alright, those were 6 things KSP needs to do better than the original, in my opinion. Do you agree with my list? What are your pet peeves that the developers need to address in your opinion? Let me know in the comments or jump over on my Discord server for a chat if you want to avoid the YouTube comment spam bots. Those are rampant right now. Also, I have a Patreon site where you can get glimpses into projects I'm working on but haven't finished yet. Maybe you find what I do worth your while and for a small amount support this channel over there as a patron. I would very much appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel for more and follow me on my social thingies. The links are in the description. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.